Good to be with you today. Again, we're thrilled that you take the time to watch these, and as long as you're watching them, we'll continue to do these little meditations to get you up on speed for what might be coming up on Sunday, what we're preaching on, give you time to prepare yourself. So this weekend is Labor Day weekend, and we hope that you have a great weekend, that you have some time away, but don't forget about your faith in the midst of that. So in the weeks to come, the coming weeks, probably the next 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to be in the Gospel of Luke. And we're going to start this week in the 14th chapter. And we're going to go forward. And where we're at in the Gospel of Luke is Jesus has set his hand to the plow. That is, Jesus is now on his way to Jerusalem and facing everything that's going to be there. Right? And so in the Gospel of Luke, we spend a number of chapters traveling with Jesus and his disciples on their way to Jerusalem and what that means. And along the way, Jesus teaches the disciples. That is, Jesus is teaching you and I, right? And he uses a lot of parables, but he also uses a number of very hard sayings that don't really make a lot of sense. And so this week in the lectionary reading in Luke, we're at that place where Jesus turns to his disciples and he tells them about the cost of discipleship. He tries to prepare them for what's coming, what's going to be expected of them. That this is no easy journey that you are on if you're going to follow me all the way to Jerusalem and past Jerusalem. And so he begins by telling them that if you want to be a follower of mine, you must hate your mother and your father. You must hate your children. You must hate your spouse. You must hate all your family. And take up your cross and follow me. That's really hard. Right? What does he mean by that? What's the expectation out of that? Well, one, we could lighten it a little bit. Right? We know Jesus uses hyperbole, right? Jesus uses language to get our attention. Sometimes he uses language to hit us over the head. Right? So hating your mother and your father and your children we could say, is hyperbole, getting our attention so that we hear what's coming later, right? That in the hyperbole, it's not what I say at the beginning that's important, that's just to get your attention. But listen to what I say after that, which is take up your cross and follow me. And we could say, right, in the Greek word that's used for hate here, some Greek scholars say it doesn't really mean hate, it means love less. So we could lighten this up a little bit so it's not so hard. But I also think that does somewhat of a disservice to Jesus. I think Jesus is trying to tell us something, right? What is the cost of discipleship? What is it that we need to give up? What is it that we need to realign in our lives if we really want to be a disciple of Christ? Because we can't just carry on as we are and be a disciple, right? That wouldn't make us a disciple. That would just give us something additional we do. That Jesus is sharing with us, you have to give up something. You have to change your life. You can't go on the way you are and be a disciple of mine. Something's got to give. And it's hard. We have to wrestle with it. What is Jesus telling us, right? And I know what you're thinking about. Pastor, tell us what we need to think about here, right? I just want you to wrestle with it. What is Jesus asking out of you in that sense? You must hate your mother and father. We know here in Iowa, right, we have these Midwestern family values. Hating mother and father ain't going to happen. we're not going to do it. So does that mean that we come up short in being a disciple of Christ? Does that mean that we're not really here so that we don't really have to come to church anymore because we can't do what Jesus calls us to do? I don't think it goes quite that far. Some of what I hear in this is love them, love your family like I love your family. Not the way that you love them, but love your family with God's love. Not with familial love, but with God's love. Don't take them for granted. Take your family as the gift that it is. And you've got to check your priorities, right? Following Jesus is never easy. Jesus doesn't make it easy, right? We could say that Jesus would never make it as a church growth speaker, right? Because this saying everybody's going to flee. He's not going to grow a church with this kind of attitude. So for this meditation, what is it that Jesus is asking you to give up now? Right? What priorities in your life need to change? What commitment needs to be stronger in your faith, your faith life at this moment? Well, have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.